I gave myself 3 days. Pack up what mattered. Toss what didn't. Call the realtor. Done. I'd been putting this off for 7 months. 7 months since the funeral, since the neighbors brought casseroles, since I promised myself I'd come back and handle it. I told myself I was ready, and then the wall gave me something I wasn't ready for at all. My grandmother's handwriting. I would know it anywhere. The name was not mine. Not my mother's. Not anyone I'd ever heard Nai mention in 29 years. Daniel. She'd hidden it inside a wall, and no one had ever found it. Until now. My grandmother came to this neighborhood in 1974. She was 30 years old. She arrived with 2 suitcases, a phrase book, and a name nobody could pronounce correctly, so eventually she stopped correcting them and let people call her whatever was easier. She bought this house, the smallest one on Fernwood Lane, and she never left. She grew a garden that the whole street secretly used as a landmark. Turn left at the house with the orange flowers. Those were her flowers. She had 1 daughter, my mother Linda, and Linda left when I was 3 and didn't look back. That left me summers here every school break, some years a few weeks in December. Nai and me in the house and the garden. I thought I knew her. I thought I knew most of what there was to know. I never once asked her where she was before here. I never asked about her life before she was a grandmother. I assumed she didn't have one. Isn't that the thing we all do with the people we love most? We love the version of them that belongs to us. We never stop to ask about the version that existed before we arrived. Daniel. I am writing this in the language I think in, not the one I speak here. If you find it, you will know enough to understand. If someone else finds it, perhaps they will find someone to translate. Or perhaps it was not meant for them. I have been in this house for 3 years now. I have planted a garden. I have learned to say what I need at the grocery. I have made something small out of what was left. I do not know if you are looking. I told you where I was going and I told you why, and you said you would come when you could. 3 years is long enough that I am beginning to understand. You are not coming. I am not angry at you. I want you to know that first. You were afraid and the world made it very easy to be afraid. I was afraid too. I am still afraid. But I came anyway. I am going to seal this letter and put it somewhere that isn't my hands. Because if I hold it, I will send it. And if I send it, I will be waiting again. And I have decided I am finished waiting. I am going to build a life from what I have. I hope you found something good from what you had. I loved you in the way that leaves a mark. I will not pretend otherwise. But I am putting you in this wall now, Daniel. And I am going to go live. I sat there for a long time. I didn't know what to do with it. This grief that wasn't mine, for a man I'd never heard of, from a version of my grandmother I didn't know existed. But I knew I couldn't just put it back. I called my mother. I don't know what I expected. Mom, I need to ask you something and I need you to actually answer me. Okay. Did Nai ever mention someone named Daniel? Where did you hear that name? I found a letter. In the wall. A letter she wrote and hid and never sent. Lara, Mom, who is Daniel? Someone she knew before she came here. Before me. Before everything. She was in love with him. Think so. She never said it that way. She just said there was someone once. That it didn't work out. That was all she gave me. She hid a letter to him inside a wall, Mom. She put it inside a wall and left it there for 40 years. She was a very private person. That's not an answer. I know it's not. Lara. Did you know she kept every drawing you ever made her? Every single one. She had them in a box in the closet. Not framed. Just kept. All of them. I didn't know that. She loved you in ways she didn't know how to say out loud. That was the only way she knew how to love. You just had to know where to look. We stayed on the phone for another hour. My mother cried. I didn't expect that. I don't think she expected it either. We didn't fix anything between us. But it was a start. Mr. Adebayo had been next door for as long as Nai. They arrived to the neighborhood the same year, 1974. I'd known him my whole life as the man next door. He brought soup when people were sick and said nothing when they got better. He was the kind of person you took for granted until you needed him. Mr. Adebayo, can I ask you something? You can always ask. Asking is free. Did you know my grandmother when she first moved here? I did. She arrived in April. I arrived in February. She was the one who told me where the good grocery store was. The one 2 blocks over, not the one on the corner. She was like that. She brought me soup that first winter. I never asked for it. She just left it by the door. That was her way. Did she ever seem like she was waiting for something? When she first came. For the first couple of years, yes. She watched the street a certain way. Like she was looking for someone in particular. And then she stopped. One day she just stopped watching the street like that. She put in that orange flower bed instead. Whole row of them right along the front. I remember because I thought, she's settled in now. She's decided this is home. I asked him if she ever talked about anyone from before. Before the neighborhood. Before the house. She mentioned once, maybe 1978 or 1979, that she had loved someone in a way that she thought would define the rest of her life. And she said it didn't, and she was grateful for that. Because it meant the rest of her life could be her own. Did she say who it was? No. And I didn't ask. Some people give you the weight of a thing without giving you the name of it. Your grandmother was that kind of person. She really planted all of this? Every single thing in that yard. She told me once that when things didn't grow, it was never the plant's fault. She'd just study what it needed and give it more of that. I stood there in the morning light, next to a man who had known my grandmother for 50 years, and I thought about everything I didn't know about the people I love most. I thought about how we wait for people to tell us their stories, and we forget that some stories they carry quietly in walls and gardens in a row of orange flowers nobody asked about. The box was a shoebox. One of those ones from dress shoes. She'd written my name on the top in the same handwriting as the letter. Just my name. No date. I don't know how long she'd been adding to it. Years clearly. Decades. She kept a birthday card I made when I was 6. She kept it in a shoebox on the top shelf of a closet in a house she lived in alone for 40 years. I don't know why that hit me harder than the letter. Maybe because the letter was for someone who left. And the box was for me. I thought about what Mr. Adebayo said, that she gave you the weight of a thing without giving you the name of it. This box was the weight of everything she felt for me. She just never handed it to me directly. She put it somewhere she knew I'd find it eventually. When I was ready. I'd come here to sell the house. 3 days. Pack up what mattered. Toss what didn't. Done. But here's the thing nobody tells you about grief. It doesn't always ask you to let go. Sometimes it asks you to slow down enough to actually see what you had. I called the realtor. Hi, yes, this is Lara Chun. I'm calling about the Fernwood Lane property. I wanted to let you know I'm going to need a little more time before we move forward. I'm not sure I'm ready to list it yet. Yeah, something came up. It's a long story. I didn't know what I was going to do with the house. I didn't know if I was going to stay a week or a month or longer. I didn't know if I would ever find out who Daniel was or where he went, or whether any of it mattered anymore. But I knew one thing. I wasn't done here. My grandmother came to this neighborhood in 1974. She was 30 years old and she was heartbroken. And she put her heartbreak inside a wall and planted orange flowers over it, and built something remarkable with what she had left. I don't know if Daniel ever came back. I don't know if he even knew where to look. But I know my grandmother left me a box with my name on it. I know Mr. Adebayo is next door. And he knew her for 50 years and he's still got stories. I know my mother picked up the phone when I called. I know the orange flowers are still out front. And I know that some things are worth staying for.